during the last 15 years, the debate about multiple modernities have become one of the most vital debates in social science. The concept was launched by Shmuel Eisenstadt in the early 1990s and has now taken the shape of an alternative paradigm for our understanding of the contemporary world. And we will have a debate around that. It's a really hotly debated theme, also in public discourse in the contemporary world. An alternative both to classical modernization theory and ideas of a clash of civilization. And we have a very eminent panel to debate this. I will first of all give the word to Professor Donald Levine from the University of Chicago, who has written extensively on this. He's an eminent historian, a historical sociologist, and also one with very great comparative interest. Please, Professor Levine.
Thank you. A year ago at the International Sociology meetings in Stockholm, I presented a paper, Does Modernity Have a Core Ethical Complex After All? And I answered with a resounding yes. So this is a genuine debate. It's a debate that wouldn't have been possible without the pioneering work of our esteemed colleague and teacher. But it is a debate in which I challenge the hegemony of a notion of multiple modernities as seriously misleading. Now let me embrace it. To begin with, first of all, embrace the notion of multiple modernities in a slightly different sense. Namely, why are we here? In addition to honoring Professor Eisenstadt, we're all here to talk about, right now, modernity. That is, in this place. It's our place in common. Modernity is a common place. It is a term, commonplace, as in classical rhetoric, where different people with different points of view assemble to talk about something, to talk together, and that's why I think having a symposium is particularly felicitous for taking up this question. Given that it's a common place about which people have different understandings, it will have different meanings. It will be, and it is, in the felicitous term of the literary critic W.B. Gali, an essentially contested concept. And Professor Wittrock has brilliantly analyzed three very different core meanings of this commonplace, namely modernity as referring to a period of time, the modern world. Modernity as referring to a set of characteristic institutions and processes, and modernity as referring to what Professor Eisenstadt would call cultural programs. Now, within each of these, there can be different points of view. It is modernity as a period begin with Leonardo da Vinci or with Condorcet or with Nietzsche or just with the invention of the internet, or is modernity even over half a century ago? So there can be different notions within that of what the modern is in a fairly straightforward sense of a chronological period. As far as cultural programs, this is where Eisenstadt puts most of the emphasis in the notion of multiple modernities, and I would like to throw out as a challenge in that discourse and that debate, just what are these different programs? How different are they? What do they consist of? That's my question on that one. But what I want to come back to is modernity as sociologists have long used it as a set of institutions and processes. And if we run down the list of classic authors, we find, for example, Adam Smith, Comte, Tocqueville, Zimmel, Peirce, Elias, Durkheim, Mannheim, etc., each stressing, Weber, of course, a different notion of what is the central institution and process. I have had the ambition in that paper referred to of pulling them together, and what I've come up with is something like a dozen and a half core institutional phenomena and processes that constitute, arguably, the worldwide pattern of modernity. I will just name them, that's all I have time for, but it will ring bells as we go along. Certainly all of them talk about specialization and differentiation, about commerce, Adam Smith, this is a commercial society, about an expanded community with center-periphery connections, Comte, Marx also, Ortega, systematized legal codes and bureaucracy, Weber, egalitarianism, Tocqueville, individualism, among others, Zimmel, institutionalized science is the hallmark of modernity, Peirce and the pragmatists, discipline and the disciplinary revolution that instantiates and inaugurates modernity, Weber, Elias, voluntary associations, a somewhat more gentle humanitarian sensibility, Durkheim, traditionalism, Mannheim, and so forth. There is no member of the modern world community that's surviving that is not connected with this complex of institutional features and processes, a complex that contains internal tensions and conflicts, as Eisenstadt rightly emphasizes, but there it is. So my answer is what I've already said.
Thank you very much, Professor Levine.